Are you ready for your third act of the evening? I think possibly this section. Will be pretty, please welcome to the stage the fabulous Erin.
My name is Erin. I am a native Texan and a naturalized Belgian. I have lived in Brussels over half my life, and I am the proud mom of 4 Brussels sprouts. So I was born at the stroke of midnight, which is officially between 2 days. The doctor literally had to change my birth time to 00.01 so that I would have a birthday June 14th. I think that at this moment in my life, I had already decided that the place that I felt most at home was actually in between things. Cultures, languages, pillows. And then I forgot my next line. Because there's something in a monolingual, mono-ethnical, mono-stoplight town in the Texas Hill Countries. My mother, who was a French and Spanish teacher, wanted to expand my sister and I's horizons, and so she hosted a series of exchange students when we were growing up. There was Lizzie, the Australian, who had this really funny accent to my Texas ears. And then there was Anne-Sophie, the French woman who had never shaved before. And now I look at that and say, maybe. And then there was the hot Belgian boy in the cool black jacket. Hello, my name is Jean Bernard. John Bernard? No, Jean Bernard. Jean Bernard? Just call me JB. Okay, JB, so where are you from in Belgium? Fleurus. Where's that? Near Charleroi. Where's that? Near Bruxelles. Oh, Brussels, yeah. And then I went and looked it up on a map. Over the course of the year that JB lived in my hometown, though, he convinced me, oh, come to Belgium, it's so cool. Come be an exchange student and learn French. It's so awesome. Come. And so on this very profound and wise advice, I packed my bags when I was 18 and flew across the Atlantic Ocean and landed in, I kid you not, the town of Silly, Belgium. My host family, they were super nice, and they had this really unique sense of humor. On the first day I was there, they kept asking me, do you have to go pee-pee? And then my host father proceeded to show me all of his pictures that he had taken on his recent beach vacation of topless women. And then he dared me to eat pig ears for dinner. Whoa. Yeah. So that night, I pulled the covers over my head and thought, what was I thinking? I called JB as soon as I could. Oh, Lee, come to my house for the weekend. Let's go out. It'll be so fun. Come on. So, the next day when he came to pick me up, he was accompanied by Mr. Tall, dark, and handsome. Meet my brother. His name is Didier. Your brother? He's like a foot taller than you. But I couldn't stop staring until I looked down and I saw he was wearing the most amazing black pointy cowboy boots. He called them Santiagos, but I really didn't care. They were just as hot as he was. He broke all the rules, DK. He, not only was I finding myself finding cowboy boots sexy for the first time in my life, and yes, there are Texans who don't like cowboy boots. He told me he
worked in computers. Computers? But you're like way too cool to work in computers.
I mean, this is back in the day when computers were only worked on with people who had broken glasses and pocket pen holder things. So, I don't know. I don't remember what I was wearing that day or what he thought of my American accent, but he must have liked something because, well, we fell in love that first day.
Oh.
And I started to think that coming to Belgium wasn't such a silly idea after all. These days, people ask me all the time, "Oh, Erin, what can we do to improve our French? Your French is so good. How do we become more fluent?" Well, take a lover. I mean, I'm serious. But of course, their spouses rarely like that suggestion. But you know, who else would you be willing to communicate so desperately with and sound like such a blubbering idiot most of the time? You know, 29 years later, Dee and I still laugh about the jokes that, you know, of miscommunication, which are mostly mine. You know, it was like, oui, oh, the things on your arms, we call them poux de bouche. Fly farts? No, my mother always said they were angel kisses. Des bisous de singe. Yeah, you're right, sweetie. Kisses. Or the day we were sitting in the cafe and he was wearing his new sweater that I had picked out. Oh, chérie, t'es tellement beau dans ton pull rouge. You like my red chicken? But the one that still gets me every time, and I swear, even now, I have to think about this. Okay, I've got to get this right. Big. I don't know why. I break every time I try to say this. Des croûtes de pain et des crottes de chien. Bread crusts, and dog poop. Pronunciation. It's important. So are prepositions. I will never forget on the first night that we met. Do you want to make love with me? Wow. I completely melted. I mean, who could not love a culture where people make love with each other instead of to each other? I politely declined on the first night, but we do have 4 kids. You know, living in Belgium though, and living as an American abroad, it's not always easy. Didier had a friend, the long-haired, kind of scruffy intellectual, who every weekend when we would see him, he'd say, "Oh, hello, you fucking American." Hi, Eve. I was so confused. He would corner me in the bar and he would start to tell me about how America was, you know, responsible for all the woes of the world. And I would just kind of look at him and go, but I didn't learn that, and that's not what my history book told me, and you mean that what they tell us on the American news isn't the whole story? So, over the years, it's taken me a while, you know? I didn't realize that America didn't win World War II by themselves. No one had told me that in my Texas history book. So, yeah, downloading, just a minute. Pause. You know, and it's hard, I still, to this day, it was really hard because as an exchange student, leaving my country of origin, I was told, you represent your country. So you have to be on your best behavior. You are responsible to behave. So when does that make me then responsible for my country when it's not on its best behavior? Let's say for the last 300 years or so? You know, and it's hard. It's hard because, you know, you think, but You know, I'm not in the government, and I'm not responsible for that. I didn't, oh, but I do have the right to vote, don't I? Which I did this morning, very proudly. And I hope you all did too. But unfortunately, not everyone that we vote for wins, right? So, over the years, I have learned to kind of take a step back, take perspective, and gain a sense of humor of the whole thing. I think that one day, if I ever decide to have a tattoo, I would put "not my fault" across my forehead. It would really come in handy in certain situations. Like a couple years ago when I was in Russia, and the tour guide proceeded to tell us how all the little kids in the surrounding villages, when they came into town, the first place they wanted to go was McDonald's. And all 50 people on the bus from as many countries around the world turned around and looked at me, totally American. Or when someone else comes over and tells me over and over and over for an hour, you know, about all the bad things about Coke. I'm like, yeah, it's not. Or when, much to my chagrin, about 2 years ago, I realized Donald Trump has the same birthday as me. So, Aditi and I really love living in Brussels, and I think because, you know, I feel at home here. I feel like it's a place that reflects the diversity that we have even within our family. When we bought our first apartment in the multi-ethnic community of Schaerbeek, there were several people that came up and said, "But you can't live there. That's where all the foreigners live." Yeah, like me. And I like to think that Dee and I try to, you know, take the best from different cultures and throw away the rest. So he has, thank God, perfected the art of making Texas barbecue ribs, like my father told him how to do. And I have embraced fries with mayonnaise and never looked back. And I try to teach my children to be proud of their American heritage. No, we did not win World War II by ourselves, but we did help out a bit, so yeah, it's okay. And, you know, for them to also be proud of this amazing Belgian culture that we live in and that they have in their blood, and that it's possible to always find a compromise to any situation. I mean, think back to, this was actually the year that I arrived in Belgium. The devoutly Catholic king actually abdicated for 24 hours so the parliament could pass a law legalizing abortion. I mean, who could not be proud of that? And then I wonder, well, what did he do on his day off? Maybe he went to McDonald's. You know, and as a family, so we switch back and forth between English and French constantly, and it confounds just about anyone around us who can hear us. They just can't figure out where we're from. And I realized that, oh, I've kind of created a whole family of people living in between. So a couple years ago when I was in Russia, this Russian World War II veteran, he asked me when he found out I was from America, he said, well, where do you prefer to live? What's better, the United States or Russia? And I said, true to form, you know, I was like, well, I choose somewhere in between, Belgium. As I click my ruby red boots together and say, there's no place like home, there's no place like home, my wish for you tonight is that you go home in between the people you love. Thank you and good night.